from the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
All right, folks, good morning. Happy Veterans Day to all of my fellow veterans. Veteran November. Today is the midway point of the month for Veteran November. We have so many great episodes coming up with some great veterans. Today, I'm featuring the legendary Gary Hayslip, the CISO over at SoftBank Investment Advisors, who'll be joining me for a great Veteran November, as well as a CISO Talk podcast. You can catch the full-length interview exclusively on our YouTube channel by subscribing right now. It'll be posted today at 2 p.m. Eastern, and it has the full thing. If you're listening in audio, you'll have to wait for part 2 tomorrow to get it. So just so you know, you can get our entire practitioner brief that we're going to be talking about today on our website at cyberhubpodcast.com. Now, without further ado, let's get right into what we have planned today. It's a really, really busy day, a lot of things to cover. Patch Tuesday was yesterday, in case you missed it. Microsoft, Intel, Samsung, and Adobe all release massive batches. We'll start with Microsoft. They released 17 critical patches that were tied to RCE bugs. In all, 112 vulnerabilities were patched by Microsoft yesterday, with 93 rated important and 2 rated low in severity. One of the more urgent ones is CVE 2020-17087, where one Windows kernel local elevation of privilege vulnerability was red flagged by Microsoft as being exploited in the wild. Also, another flaw that was being exploited in the wild alongside a Google Chrome flaw, which is CVE 2020-15999, which had been patched on October 20th. Microsoft rated the vulnerability as important in severity, likely because an attacker interested in exploiting the bug would need to have a physical access to the various installs of Windows servers, Windows 10 RT 8.1 or 7 impacted by the flaw. There's a lot more on that specific flaw. One thing that you guys may have noticed is that in November's bulletin, Microsoft removed the description section of the CVE overview, and the new approach was announced on Monday by the Microsoft Security Response Center. It describes a heavier reliance on the industry standard common vulnerability scoring system to provide more generalized vulnerability information for Patch Tuesday security bulletins. So that's that. Let's talk a little bit about Intel. The Colossal Intel update anchored by critical privilege escalation bug. So a massive Intel security update addresses flaws across a myriad of products, most notably critical bugs that can be exploited by unauthenticated cyber criminals. In order to gain escalated privileges, these critical flaws exist in products related to wireless Bluetooth, including various Intel Wi-Fi modules and wireless network adapters, as well as in its remote out-of-band management tool, Active Management Technology, AMT. Overall, Intel released 40 security advisories yesterday, each addressing critical high and medium severity vulnerabilities across various products. That by far trumps October's Intel security update, which resolved one high severity flaw in BlueZ, the Linux Bluetooth protocol stack that provides support for core Bluetooth layers and protocols to Linux-based IoT devices. One critical severity vulnerability exists in the Intel AMT and Intel Standard Manageability, ISM. AMT, which is used for remote out-of-band management of PC, is part of Intel's vPro platform and is primarily used by enterprise IT shops for remote management of corporate systems. ISM has a similar function as AMT. The flaw CVE 2020-8752 rates 9.4 out of 10 on the CVSS vulnerability scale and stems from an out-of-bounds write error in the IPv6 subsystem for Intel AMT and Intel ISM, and if exploited, the flaw could allow an unauthenticated user to gain escalated privileges. Again, high severity flaws in here. Make sure you patch those. There's several of those, all available on our website at cyberhubpodcast.com. Samsung fixes critical Android flaws with their November update as well. Samsung started rolling out an Android the Android's November security update to mobile devices to patch critical security vulnerabilities in the OS and enhance overall features on the devices. This comes after Android published their November 2020, which include patches for critical vulnerabilities impacting the latest devices. These include numerous improvements related to Wi-Fi connectivity, camera app, along with several significant security updates. The most severe vulnerability could enable a remote attacker using a specially crafted file to execute arbitrary code within the context of a privileged process. And so they're asking that you patch those. All the patches are available on Samsung's website. You can get the link on our website at cyberhubpodcast.com. Go to Practitioner Brief and you'll see it right there for under today's date, November 11th, which also happens to be Veterans Day, folks. All right, final story of the day, Adobe here, folks. Adobe on Tuesday informed customers that it has patched vulnerabilities in its Reader and mobile and Connect products, but none of them appears too serious. This would be kind of one of the first Adobe COM patch Tuesdays that we've seen in a while. But Adobe does patch out of band quite frequently. When they see something, they patch it. That's one thing to their credit. They don't wait a month. They don't try to hide it. They're predominantly really good. I know I say that in the next month if something big will happen with Adobe and people will be like, James, look what you did. And I'll be like, yes, I know, it's my fault. Blame me for all the world's problems. I am okay with that. I will carry that weight on my shoulders for your pure enjoyment. That's it for our Practitioner Brief today. Guys, Veteran November. Today's Veterans Day. And I want to take a moment, if you don't mind, a minute out of your time and reflect about what Veterans Day means to veterans, people like myself, and the 26, now it's about 36 other veterans that have joined me on this Veteran November movement by coming in and speaking with us openly. And I hope you've enjoyed the episode so far. And please comment. Let these guys know that you appreciate their service, whether it be on YouTube, on LinkedIn. If you're listening to the podcast, give us 5 stars. Comment about our Veteran November series. We really want to carry this year in, year out going forward and recruit more people to join us so we can create more content and so forth around this. But we veterans didn't do what we did for the thank you or the appreciation or for days like this. We did it because we believe in America. We believe in the dream of America, in the purpose of America, in the goodness of our nation, and in serving our nation and defending it against threats both domestic and international. And in times like this, and we're in very fraught times, so I'm going to try to stay away from the whole who's going to be president. The courts will decide that. There's a legal process to be played out. But man, I've seen so much hate spewed on both sides, and it's troubling. And we have to be able to put a stop to it. We have to be able to go back to discourse, to polite discourse, without insults, without calling someone a racist or stupid or ignorant, without rights conservatives or leftists, but as Americans. And we have to unite in a vision for our nation, a vision that does not include socialism, folks. I'm very open about that. A vision that doesn't give you entitlements. You're entitled to nothing in this country. You fight for everything you have. We need to fight for the equal chance to give everyone the same opportunity. That's why we do so much work, I know I do, with underserved communities of all kinds, of all races, creeds, religion, you name it, to give them the chance to have an equal shot of opportunity. And those communities take advantage of it. But we have to do more. But it's not the equality of outcome, it's the equality of opportunity. And if we can agree to that, then folks, everything else is just semantics. The challenge is the equality of outcome is not guaranteed anywhere but in communism or socialism. And at that point, the only outcome is everyone standing in a breadline. And those who will argue about Nordic countries, I'll have to say that a country of 8 million is very much different than a country of 320 million that is diverse geographically by its population. And people from Arkansas are very much different from people in New York, and people from Texas, from Dallas are different from people in Austin, folks. And they're in the same state, about the 2-hour drive from each other. So keep that in mind. Thank your veterans today. Let them know how much you appreciate their service. And most importantly, don't just do it today. Do it every single day. And just remember that this American experiment, this democracy that's been going on for 200 and some odd years, the reason it's still here, the reason we all have our freedoms and our rights is because of the brave men and women who today are wearing these uniforms and fighting wars and fighting battles and protecting us in ways we can't even fathom. That's it for me here today, folks. Happy Veterans Day and stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our on your favorite podcast listening platform.